Hey, what's going on? You're tapped in. It's another 180 creator interview. I'm your host, Teel, and I got another great guest. What's going on, Jeremy Duncan?
What's up, man? I'm glad to be here.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited.
Sir. Yes, sir.
So you have got your show. I just seen that the other day. That's what made me, I was like, man, I got to hit him up. It seemed like we're kind of doing the same type of deal here.
Yeah.
So what type of show you got going on?
It's basically like a people interest type show. My goal is kind of like to highlight all the things that are going on in Texarkana that people don't know about. A lot of times people talk about there's nothing going on in Texarkana, but we have a lot of talented people like yourself, a lot of small business owners, a lot of civic leaders that are doing all the things that try to get the community back on track. So I want to highlight that. So oftentimes you really see a lot of people just flock to the negative stuff on Facebook. So I didn't want to kind of touch into that so much, but I want to try to highlight the people that are doing things that try to make the community better.
I think it's needed.
Yes, sir.
And I try to stay out of the drama myself.
Yeah, I try to stay out of that.
It's I don't know. That is like it's something you hear around here. Texarkana's this, Texarkana's that. I've even played into it at times, not on the podcast, but like just man, Texarkana dangerous. Texarkana's this, which to an extent there is At times, there is a dangerous element to Texarkana.
It is. You know, I grew up in the 90s, so I remember the Rat Packs and the Dog Pound and all the crazy stuff that used to go on. And then there's that. And a lot of times people just highlight that, you know.
Right.
But within all of these communities, there's also people that are doing things that try to make the community better, that are thriving, that are trying to bring it back to where it was. Because like I said, I grew up when downtown didn't look the way it looked. Yeah. I grew up when out here wasn't the way. I remember that on the corner here at the light, there was a grocery store there.
Oh, the Piggly Wiggly.
Yeah, I remember all that.
Tell me about that.
I used to come get my hair cut down here with Chris Arnold and everything when I came back and started growing up. So it's a lot of good things in Texarkana. And like I said, I think a lot of times people flock to the negative parts of it.
Why do you think that is?
I don't think they really have a lot going on in their general life. Mm-hmm. So anything that's going to give them opportunity to have say or to give feedback or get clap back or they might have been slighted some type of way, it draws them to it. And then a lot of times that's more exciting than listen to maybe the mayor talk or learning about a new building that might be renovated historically downtown. So they flock to those things.
That makes a lot of sense. That does make a lot of sense. Man, because I don't know. It is a very interesting topic because I can't tell you I don't even know if I could tell you the mayor's name. Could you tell me the mayor's name?
Yeah, Mayor Brueggemann. Then there you got the Arkansas side. So I try to cover both.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get both of them on.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Because they're doing things. I listen to, of course, I've started listening to you. My biggest podcast that I watch is The Pivot. I like DNVR Sports and of course Texarkana Game Day. I watch them some. But I try to go in and listen to different things. Like with Texarkana Gazette, they have actual little podcast. You kind of listen to it. So I listen to the different things that the mayors are doing that they're trying to bring in to the city and all the things, different trials and stuff they have to go through in order to try to bring those things in. So looking at those things is some of the things that I want to try to bring to the people that I may attract through our podcast or our platform. And then just expose them to stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna share and like everything that you do because I want people to be able to connect with that. And not so much the negative stuff. Now, I will tell you, if I see something, I'm not gonna shine up a turd. I look for the positive, but if there's something that, could be done a little better, I'm gonna go to them and say, hey, what about this? We don't get a response to them. I'm gonna reach out to the people and get a poll question about it. What do you think? What do you want to see? Because I think the people's, like The Rock, we talked about the wrestling scene earlier, the people's voice is what's going to drive our podcast, what's going to drive our communities, what's going to drive our political scene, all of those things. So being able to tap into that and allowing people to tap into that, because a lot of times they haven't been exposed to that. They may want to know, but they really don't know the process to get to the information. So I think if I can just bring just a little bit of that to them, I think it makes them a little bit more informed about what's going on and maybe they get involved.
Right. Yeah, because we were talking about the mayor deal earlier. I don't know where I would go to hear about what the mayor's doing.
Man. Same here.
Yeah.
Same here, because a lot of times the stuff is not really advertised to me. I told them this. To me, it's not really advertised to the normal Joe. It's like a few months ago, maybe like 2 or 3 months ago, they had a state of the Texarkana address. Did you know about that?
No.
Where they had all the mayors of Texarkana, Texas, Texarkana, Arkansas. I didn't even know Nash had a mayor.
Nash got a mayor?
Yeah, I don't know.
Everybody can have a mayor.
I know, everybody got a mayor. And so, they came and they talked about all the things that are going on. And I'm like, and they hit it like at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning.
Oh,
you're going to work.
Yeah.
I'm on the way to work.
Yeah.
So if you're working in the community, you got kids that you're trying to get off to school, you just missed a whole segment of the population. And then it was a fee.
A fee?
A fee.
To get in?
Yeah, it was a fee.
Oh, no. And so this was a live, it wasn't broadcast nowhere?
No, they had it down at Cross Ties.
Okay.
And so you saw the pictures and stuff later on when they posted on Facebook. So there wasn't really like, you can come, but it's a fee. But if you look at our median income in this city, I think as a family, it's like $48,000. The median income as an individual, maybe like 28. If you have a choice between going to see the trio of mayors and buying your kids some groceries, where are you going to spend that $50 on?
We're going to the store.
we're going to the store. So when I say I'm not going to shine up something to make it look good,
right?
I want to be able to expose people to stuff without them feeling like they're left on the outskirts.
Yeah.
And so when you do stuff like that, you're kind of limiting your population to the information they need to maybe and get involved. Because there's a lot of people out here that are doing great things that might get involved if they knew about it. So,
yeah.
So I searched the Facebook.
Seems like something that should be broadcasted.
Yeah, it should be.
In today's day, like we have Texarkana game day. I can watch a baseball game live.
Right.
But I don't know what the mayor talking about.
Right. It's crazy because, hey, they can bring out the big podium with Texarkana game day.
Yeah.
The 3 mayor triumvirate come out and talk about what's going on. But it was like in the morning, I was like, that's not right. I get to watch the president for free.
Right. Yeah.
At 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock.
Pay for the mayor.
Yeah. See all the crazy personalities and stuff, whether it's Republican, Democrat, we get to watch that for free.
Yeah.
So even when you don't have cable, they put it on YouTube so you can watch it for free. So
yeah, that's interesting. I don't know how. I'm not sure how they can. I know I've just focused in on the mayor, but that's where my brain is stuck right now.
Right.
I just thinking, how could they get into like the younger people too that
connecting with people like you?
Yeah, I just don't. I think I would like to know more, probably.
Connecting with people like you and making it open.
Yeah, I'm just going to have to find smart people to come on the podcast and tell me what's going on. I think that's where I might learn the best.
Right. And I think they'll be open and like, I know because they're busy. I understand they're busy. They have things going on. So like I'm going to have the director of Main Street Texarkana. We're gonna have. She's gonna come on the Texarkana TXK conversation. We're gonna talk about everything that's going on because there's some really good things going on downtown. Lot of like cultural, small business. There's I have this gentleman that I'll be speaking with. His name is Chris Fuller. I don't know if you know him, but if you go downtown, there's a old building that used to be a Asian restaurant that has a Dr. Pepper sign out front. Well, he's purchased that and they're renovating that, and they're gonna have, and he's posting on Facebook. He's having a wine type bourbon bar that he's developing. He's gonna have like apartments above. He just posted something that he's gonna have like an outdoor space and adjoining lot. So there's a lot of things going on. But I think if they had a panel like what you do, or they got with Texarkana Game Day and utilize that big platform like they do for the couch when they were doing that. Yeah. To have those people be able to come on and get that information to the people so they know.
Yeah. I wonder if they presented. I still wonder if they presented it correctly. If people would still tap in, because there is that factor. Right. Maybe people just wouldn't. Yeah. And then they'd be like, "Well, dang, we just rolled out the big rollout." Yeah.
I ain't worried about that. The mayor. You know.
I don't know. I'm always so curious about what we can actually change. Right. And I don't know. That's an interesting thing in my mind. It's like, what can we actually do? I feel like you can do positive things, right? And like, you know, like I feel like my show could have a good impact, you know? Right. But it's like, I don't know, especially like, and then the higher up you get into politics, it's like, oh gosh.
Yeah, you gotta worry about those minefields that you walk into.
Yeah.
So, but I think if they package it right, like you said, and be able to present it, you may not get everybody. Like I don't get everybody that I do with my content. You may not get, but you're gonna get an ear from somebody, and they're gonna go talk about it.
Yeah.
With their friends that might not have tapped into it, and so that might intrigue them to say, "Hey, I'm gonna check that out the next time they maybe do that." Because a lot of times, I think if we get out and talk to people, you'll find out whether they're Black, white, Asian, Hispanic, whatever, we all have the same goal. We want to be able to take care of our families, be able to provide for our families, have a great place to live in a good community, have good schools, not to deal with a lot of the nonsense that's going on. So I think if we package that and then just like don't just use the normal cast of people that you normally use for stuff. Go out into the community. You should, like all the stuff that you're doing, you'll be a prime candidate to be a part of the organization linked TXK. They have you're in the age range. You're doing. I
don't know what that is.
Yeah. It's like a little group of young professionals that are trying to do great things in Texarkana, doing things in Texarkana to make Texarkana better, to expose other people to the great things in Texarkana. You're doing that for your podcast. Why don't you know about that?
I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, exactly. I had found out about for somebody else. I'm like, oh, we're doing similar things. Like we connected because we're doing similar things. Why not expose everyone to that and not have it just close? And I don't think it's even like a race thing or anything like that. I just think people just used to their circles.
Right.
And they don't always expose what's going on in those circles to everybody. So.
Yeah, I always wonder how I'd fit in with the I don't even know how to describe what I'm picturing in my head, but you know what I'm saying.
Right, yeah, I know. I do the same thing.
Yeah, I'm kind of I don't know. I really feel like I'm like not that alternative, but like, there's things that kind of maybe stick out. Like,
I'm gonna get one of those one day.
Oh, you don't have no tattoos?
Nah, I mean, my wife talked about it. So.
If you could get a tattoo, what would it be?
It'd probably be my fraternity letters.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because all of my frat brothers got brands though. I'm not gonna do the brand though. I don't get burned now. But it'd probably be that I get A5A on there. Shout out to the good bros. But yeah, we talked about different stuff. I was like, everybody has an age, like an alternate side. I'm not like an extrovert, but I remember you saying on one of your shows, like once you get me in the room, we get to talking, I'm gonna be able to connect with you, vibe with you, do all those things. So
right, yeah, I just have to. I don't know. Once I feel like I can break some barriers, I'm good.
Right.
But it is what it is. You just got to flow. That's what I'm just trying to learn how to flow, man.
Me too.
And I feel like that's like a big thing. Like if you can just flow and go where you go.
Yeah, right. That's the same thing with me, man. Like I was telling you about my job, I'm like, I try to get away from like the serious, because it's serious. And if I can get in and talk with people, get to know them, my daughters, they get on me all the time and say, every time we go to the grocery store, you're always sparking up a conversation with somebody. I like talking to people.
Yeah, that's a sign that you need to be doing something creative with that.
Yeah, that's what one of my professors said. You in the wrong profession.
Yeah, man. I don't know. We have this I think everybody has it in us, and I think that sometimes it's hard to get it out. But I think we need it.
Yep.
And then if it comes out, there's so many people that aren't trying something that I feel like should be trying something.
Right.
Like if you have like this weird like urge to, just whatever it is, if it's just like every time you're in public, like we got to talk to somebody, so okay, you need a microphone in front of you.
Exactly.
Yeah, you need to get some people listening to you. That's
me too. I probably did miss my calling for a long time. I graduated from Texas in '95. And for a long time, I always wanted to be a part of Tiger Vision. With football and band, it was just never enough time to get into that schedule, because I would love to have learned how to do all of these things. Luckily, I've learned a lot through when I was able to do like the career and technology level course. I was in graphic design and stuff like that. And we kind of exposed me to photography and computers and stuff like that. But I always wanted to be like in like the TV type stuff. I used to be in theater camp with Track Downtown. It's crazy. I'll tell you a crazy story. My middle school, I think we were the first middle school to do a full-blown production of Romeo and Juliet. I don't know if you remember Al Hanna when he was living. He was like, before Texarkana game day, he was the voice of the Tigers.
Oh, wow.
So, and I had his wife as my elementary school teacher. So she had us in like, expose us to Shakespeare. And so that's how I got involved in like all the like production type stuff and getting interested in like movies. And even when I was in college, I did like a movie class. I had like a movie and theater class where we talked about movies and all the classics and all those things. So I was into it, but my focus was I want to be a psychiatrist. I want to be a counselor, knowing like, oh, that's what I want to do, but instead of going following my actual passion for it.
Yeah. Do you regret that, or do you think it panned out right?
I think it panned out right, but I think I've probably been like a little bit more happier. Yeah. I love my job. I love working with people. I love being able to see the veterans that I work with achieve whatever goal that they might want to achieve when they leave the service, and we help them find a career and we send them to school, and then they get out and graduate and they say, oh, I got a job. So that's great. But like sometimes you look back and like, what if I would have done? What if I would? I knew I was never going to be like NFL player. I played the offensive line. I'm 5'6". I'm just not getting rid of that weight that they had put on me. So, but I look back sometimes like, but I have this outlet now where I can still do what I'm doing at work, be successful there, but also impact through this podcast media type field that we're all being able to go through because of social media and the technology that we have now. So
yeah, we're more connected to people than we've ever been.
Right.
It's crazy about life is like, I don't know, like with this like podcasting for me, it seems like a whole bunch of other skills I learned a bunch of ways. It's just like I was just putting them in my bag, and now all of a sudden I've got something that I could empty the bag out on, Yeah,
your transferable skills.
Yeah, transferable skills. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, man, even when I was running the studio, or when I do my even septic work to this day, I would like when I do septic work, I'd rather the client like be there. Like some people don't want you looking over their shoulders and all that. I would rather the person be there. Like I want to talk. That's like part of winning you over, so I can be the person that works for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so. And then in the studio, just trying to go above and beyond, just talking to people, because there's a lot of people that engineer and just sit there and look at you through the glass and say, all right, you want to redo that or what?
Right.
And at the beginning, I was tempted to just sit there and be like, do you want to redo that or not? Right. But then you learn, you're like, okay, no, I got to talk to him.
I got to groom him.
Yeah. And you got to work the room, learn who to talk to, learn who to let them do their own thing. And I don't know, it's all that. Then the military stuff and all that just leads to, I don't know, right now, and then all this could transfer to something else.
Right.
Later, because I don't know what I might get into later. But right now it just feels like I'm in the sweet spot.
And you are. And I love the show that you do because it seems like it's a fit for you. Would you laugh? I need to check out the other show that you talked about.
Oh, it's so wild.
Yeah, I need to check out that.
It's out of pocket, I promise. I apologize beforehand. We get a little wild. But for me, these, even though we laugh a lot and stuff, and these, to me, this is the serious one.
Right.
Even though it's not all that serious. It is serious, but it's not. That's the one, that's kind of like my outlet where it's like, because it's meant to be kind of out of pocket.
Yeah, man. I try to, mine is like the TXK conversations is like the more serious one. But when I get out and actually go out and go to people's sites where they are and actually talk to them and be in their spaces and kind of get a feel for the passion that they have, like we're doing now, because I see the passion that you have, that's when I know that, like you said, that's a sweet spot. I love the virtual, talking with the civic, the people, the movers and shakers, so to speak. But I love talking to the regular person because I grew up in Beverly, Rose Hill. Those are the people that a part of those people are me. Just like you talked about your third generation of your business, everything your grandfather, your father, that stuff instilled in you that is coming out on screen,
right?
And over the voice, even when you were a producer. So I really love it. I think the space that we have now is allowing us to take all of those different things that, like you said, from the military, from what you're doing with your family's business and what you've done and everything else that's coming out where you're putting all those things together. And I think it's like you said, it's like we may not be where we want to be, but the things that we have have acquired through our path is allowing us to move forward. So that's the thing that I look at.
I like that.
And so I look back on where I should have been, but I don't really have regrets about it. I say, I have another opportunity. I look at through a different lens where I can be able to not only do what I've been trained to do, but go do some things I want to do now instead of just saying I got to work. Because my family, I tell you, my work, I always focus on the job, taking care of the family, me come second. And now I'm able, my girls are old enough where they're in college, graduate school, where I can just go have fun, and we're doing the empty nesting thing where we can go do stuff. And so the podcast is part of it. I call in my garage.
I love that for you. I love that
yeah, man.
We get to focus on you for a little bit. That's important.
Yeah. Yeah, because you have any kids?
I have a 3-year-old son and a 1.5-year-old daughter.
And
I'm in the middle of it.
You're in the middle because everything focused on getting them where they need to be.
Right.
Making sure they're safe. Making sure they have good schools, good environment, the good people that's going to impact them. And that's for a long time. That's where we were. If we moved, it was always, we got to make sure we're in a good school district.
Yeah.
So, but now it's like we got them set. We started early. I think we got married right out of college. We were both like 23. She's 47, I'm 48 now. I'm in the mention your age. But we're in that sweet spot now where we can just go explore and go different places and do things that we want to do now.
I like that. Yeah, me and her, we got married. I was 21.
Right. Yeah.
She was younger than that. She was like 19.
Right.
But then we didn't have babies for a long time.
Right.
So that was in 2016 we got married, and we didn't have babies until the very December before 2021.
Okay.
And so there was a cool little sweet spot we had before there. And really, we started dating in 2012.
Okay.
So me and her we ran around together for almost 8 years. We were just chilling. And
we got out of college. I go the first one.
It's hard to avoid today.
I know, right? Honeymoon, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, we but no, it's so nice having, I don't know. I think today's age, like, it's hard for people to stay together because there's just so many different things.
Man. Yeah, it's too much.
That's why I try to keep it simple.
Yeah,
keep it simple. I like what I got. I don't want.
Yeah.
I don't need none of that other stuff.
I done learned you. I done learned you. You done learned me. I don't got time to try to learn to be trained by nobody else.
Isn't that interesting? One, as a man, and I know you feel it because of what you said. I know you feel what I'm finna say here.
Right.
One of the scariest things, not that I would ever want to leave her or anything like that, but one scary thought is thinking about, like, I do not want to start over with another lady.
We talk about that all the time. I was like, you leave or you happen to pass before I do. I'm just done. I'm not trying to, it's too, one, I'm cheap, as they say, so I can't afford none of these ladies anyway. So
they kind of they might need a bigger bag than I'm willing.
I know, right? hey, I'm like, no. So.
Yeah, me and her, man, I think that's cool though. Me and her were young. We didn't have no money. We would go to we would go to Taco Bell together, laugh, get along. We would have these little missions we go on, just little things like, and so. I know that she's not, I'm still not like baller or nothing, but I know there's never that thought of, she just wants me for this. No, we were in the trenches together.
Same with us. 3:00 in the morning, hop runs. She's getting off work.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Or she coming in, I'm getting ready to go to work. So yeah, it's just, I think right now, it's just like we're at a point in our lives where we're trying to just focus on what's going on. She working. I'm more civic minded, trying to get out, trying to meet people, trying to see what's going on. I'm like, if I'm gonna be back here, never thought I was just gonna come back to kind of live. But if we're gonna be here, I want to be able to try to impact what's going on. At least try to expose people to what's going on of the positive stuff. So
where did you go?
Man, when I left here I worked at Liberty Hollow for several years. I was active.
Liberty Hollow.
Yep, LE. Good opportunity for me to start out of my career. But I left here in like 06, 07, started working for the VA in Little Rock. I worked there for a long time. Then ended up in San Antonio working with the VA there. And then I still work for the VA. So I come back here because my job allows me to work from home. I go down to Fort Johnson every Friday and I do briefings with the servicemen and women that are getting ready to get out. But that's been my path. It's been education, but it's always been around helping somebody either get trained for something or find a job.
Right. So
that's always been my path. My education is in counseling. Again, I graduated from Henderson State.
Cool.
Back in '99, that was a place where we met. But that's always been my passion. I think overall, my family I come from like a family that always trying to help people. My mom was always in the community helping people that were in need, or she needed to feed them or provide them with a place of shelter. If they might have lost a parent, might have kicked them out. So we had people come live with us, whether it was family members or people in the community. So I think just coming back here gave me an opportunity. So what do I want to do? What do I want my story to be by coming back here?
Right.
My impact, or if I leave today, what will people say about me?
Yeah.
So
I like that. So the VA, let's talk about that for a second, because so overall, it seems like we have a problem with we're letting our vets down almost in the country, huh?
Right.
what's your opinion on that? Which I know you do great work and nothing.
No.
I'm just saying.
I think in a certain sense, not every, and I think it's like that with a lot of things, whether it be education or where we don't always have people in the business with the heart for the business. That's got the heart for helping the veteran, the person who bore all the strife and heartache so that we would be able to have the life that we have. Like I said, I have like, count them up, it's 10 of us. It's like 6 or 7 of us, of my brothers and sisters that are veterans that's gone through service. So I have a keen passion for that. A lot of times you don't have people in the profession that are really in tune to what those needs are. I can't tell you to go do something that what I want to do. I have to delve into you as the veteran, as the person, to be able to help shape what you want to do.
Right.
So a lot of times you don't have people in those spaces that are actually geared towards helping the veteran achieve whatever goal that he has. So a lot of times things get missed. The veteran might not receive the type of service that they may need. Because I tell you, like the actual programs and stuff are there for you guys. But it's just, if you get with the wrong person, that's not, if they just there for their grade, because we make pretty good, if they're just there for the GS level, the pay, and not really focus on the actual job that we're doing, that veteran may not benefit from that. And a lot of my colleagues, we kind of interact with that, because a lot of times that veteran may come to us. And so we have to rework and have to build that relationship to be able to provide those things. So I would say the programs and things that are there, the money that the government is putting in, the level of training that's out there for you. But a lot of times if I'm working with you and I'm not giving you that information, I'm doing you an injustice.
You're right.
And so right now, I think the agency has gotten to the point where they're trying to, and they have been trying to get people in there that are more conducive to the veteran, their family, and it's not just the veteran, but their overall family and what their needs are. Because if you're going to serve the veteran, you got to be able to make sure that you're putting them in a situation that's going to impact their family and their kids. And a lot of times they might be caring for a parent. That parent might be a dependent. So you got to make sure you're putting them in the right situation, giving them the right policy, how it applies to them. And sometimes if it doesn't apply to them, you got to say, hey, this doesn't work for you, but what about this? Right. Being able to put that veteran in the right situation. So, you see a lot of stuff in the news, but just working there, I know that the programs are there, and it's just you getting connected with the right person that's going to get you where you need to go. Mm-hmm. And yeah, you can ask to say, hey, I need somebody else that's gonna work with me, and that's an option for you. But a lot of times, if you get a person that's not in line with what you want to do, and it's like with anything, you have. Like say with a football team, you have players that haven't bought into the system and they're just about me and what they're trying to get out of it, that's going to create an issue with the people that you're trying to serve. And so I think that's what the agency is doing now. They're doing a lot of more veteran-centered care where they're looking at, okay, these are the people that are coming into our systems. These are the people that we need to serve and be able to meet them where they are and not try to put them in a box of what I would want to do. Because I'm not going to go out there and do the degree program or the training program. I talk to guys all the time and I tell them like, the big thing is that, oh, I got to go get a degree. Not really. There's a lot of stuff out there we can do. We can look at an apprenticeship. We can look at a trade.
Yeah, trade.
People making big money doing trades. I was talking to a guy the other day and I'm like, he said, man, I don't really want to sit in the classroom. I'm like, you don't have to. There's other options. What about this? So, and connecting them to those things so they can be able to do that. I'm not going back to school myself. My friends are going to get doctorate. Why? I'm doing just fine. Doing just fine with what I have because I know me. I probably have like a little ADHD, my wife say.
Same.
Because she say I'm all over the place. But I try to make sure I'm getting these guys and ladies in the place that they want to be and not projecting what I may want to do onto them. Right. And I think that's what the agency is doing right now, trying to make sure we meet those veterans, service members that I work with and the people that are already veterans, meeting them where they are so they can have success. Because we found that if we get them in a situation that they want to do, not that we tell them to do, that they want to do, they're more apt to have success.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
We don't do very well. Like, I don't think humans do well with, really just getting told to do anything, or even focused or pushed. You know what I'm saying? Like, we work best, at least me personally, for sure. I work best when I like what's going on, right? Which makes sense. I mean, that's I know that it's got to be tough for people, especially people that were in longer than I were, and then like maybe you have a job that doesn't transfer over. Like I had a machine gun, like that does not gonna do me any good here.
And then that's where you step in and say, okay, what do you like to do?
Yeah.
What did you do while you were in the military? Did you go do a hobby or something? Did you do any of those training through Skill Bridge or anything like that? So if you can do anything in this world, what would you do? Because a lot of times I can't put you into something that's going to maybe be a trigger for what you've done when you use that machine gun.
Right.
Because it's not going to be conducive to you or your family because you're going to be stressed out. You're not going to perform at your best. So I got to sit there and know who you are. I got to learn you. I got to know what your likes are, what you dislike. So
how does that work when you get, like, how many clients are you? You have a bunch of clients?
Yeah.
And then you're spending like what is it, like phone calls and stuff? Or you're spending lots of times? Or how do you?
So this is our mandate. Right now, I work Monday through Friday. Well, Monday through Thursday, I work from home. I do what we call telework, like a hybrid. On Fridays, I go down to Fort Johnson. But the main thing is that if a veteran wants to meet me face-to-face, I go to Shreveport and I meet with them face-to-face. Or when I was San Antonio, I would schedule them to come in the office so we can meet face-to-face. Because a lot of times it's more personal for them to come in so they can size you up, see if you're going to be able to be somebody that they can trust and count on. And a lot of times you can't do that virtual.
Yeah.
So they have the first option to meet you face-to-face. And then if they say, I just want to do virtual, then you accommodate that. But the first option is for us to meet with our veterans and our service members face-to-face. I love it when I go down on Fridays and I get to sit in the classroom with them. I can talk it up. They feel comfortable. I take a little bag. I have water bottles, all types of stuff I give to them. And it eases the path for us to open up a line of communication so they can kind of tell me, hey, what they want to do. If they don't, I say, hey, text me your name, email address. I'm going to shoot you a text as soon as it's over. They shoot it, and then we start having a conversation. Then they can call me and say, hey, okay, I want to move forward with this.
Yeah.
And I think when we do that, open that path for people to come to you at their own pace instead of you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this, then it doesn't always go well.
Right.
And I'm seeing that a lot with, not to get off the topic, but I'm seeing that a lot with education. Because I read like stuff around the country, around the world about education, how things are set up. And my big thing now is like, why are we wasting people's time with these general ed classes? If they say they want to be in a particular path, whether it be medicine or culinary or going through trade to be plumbing, that's what they need to be working on.
You think,
Don't waste their time with like stuff that I'm really not going to use because you're going to lose them. We need to meet people where they are, give them the training they need so they can be out and go and fly.
Right.
Because a lot of times we're not I don't think we do that in our education. It's like a big push for post-secondary ed or college, which nothing wrong with that. I went there, but I always tell people if I would have, if the level of the trades and things were where it was in the 90s, where it is now, like with culinary, I'm like, I would be a chef. I would have relished working over at Arkansas High in that program or TSD and doing caterings and working on that. They got food trucks, man.
Yeah.
In high school, they got food trucks. And they're going around learning the trade. And I got an opportunity to speak with one young man when I was doing one of the other shows with the food, one of the food-based shows that I do with our platform down at MEPs. And he had a student working there. He was talking about what his favorite dish was and how he prepared it and how it helped him prepare for the exam, to sit for the board. And he said he was so passionate about it.
Yeah.
And you should just be focusing on that.
Yeah, he doesn't need to know trigonometry. he needs to focus on cooking if that's what he wants to do. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I think like when I was talking to your friend Derek, my friend Derek, he was saying, I guess his answer kind of towards that was just like a baseline. Right. Like, because you just creating the baseline of knowledge. But I think stuff like we were saying, like trigonometry, that's not a baseline.
No, I don't, for counseling, I'm not using trigonometry.
Yeah, right. So, okay, so we can get into the well, one more thing before I leave the VA.
Right. Yeah, go ahead.
I do have a question, and I guess this can lead into the counselor thing too. Right. How do you take on other people's problems for a living and not let it take over? You know what I'm saying? How do you handle that?
For me, what I'm doing right with the podcast, getting involved in stuff in the community. I will go to city council meetings. I just like because I took a class in municipal government, so I'm a freak. I like that type of stuff.
So what does that teach you? Like how
governments work? Yeah, how government work, like a mayor system, or if they have a mayor city manager type system, teach you how the government works. All of those different things.
This stuff that we should know. Yeah. I don't know how the mayor stuff works. Yeah, so, I'm really questioning myself after this one.
And that's why I learned about it, because I wasn't like in tune to that. I wasn't trying to go to any of that when I went to college. I didn't know who the mayor was when I was in high school or anything like that, but I got involved through just, take my major level classes where I had to take, because my minor was criminal justice, my major was psych. So I loved those classes. I didn't like English. I'm like, why I'm taking biology, I'm not going to use it.
Yeah, biology. Yeah.
But when I got into those classes, that's when I was open. I was talking like we do it now. They asked me a question about it. It interested me. Right. So I can talk freely about that. So now with counseling and stuff, when we're working with veterans and I worked in mental health hospitals with youth. There's a hospital that I worked in Benton, Arkansas when I first got out of college. So you kind of remove yourself from the problem so you don't bring them home.
Right, yeah.
A lot of times I would commute, so I would drive home. I would listen to my music. I would just deconnect from all of that stuff that we did at work. Yeah. And when I didn't do that, you can tell when stuff was
making its way back to the house.
Yeah, making its way into the house. Yeah. You're on edge. You're dealing with how I'm going to help this person. And then like with now, I get up, start in the morning, I go for a drive before I even get started. When I get done in the afternoon, if I don't have the podcast going on, if I'm not going out and interviewing somebody for a video that we're going to post, I take a drive. I drive through downtown. I look around. I go through the neighborhoods just to see, to remove my mind from all of that stuff. Because that's one of the things that the agency wants us to do. They want us to get away from the screen. I'm like, they don't want us to be on that screen all the time, dealing with all the stuff that we do. Because we deal with a lot. We deal, like you asked about my caseload. Right now, in total, I have just active cases today. I have 60 vets. 60, goodness. But for the ones that I'm doing the briefings with down at Fort Johnson, I think I have like about 120, because we have so many. Those are the ones that I have got injured or getting ready to get discharged medically. And so I'm working with them to try to get them set up to come to the general VR program so I can send them wherever they're going to go. They're going to go back to Louisiana, California, whatever. So I have a pretty large caseload. So, and with all of my colleagues, we have to just separate from that stuff. They say, and make sure we take leave, take time for yourself. It's always work-life balance. It's kind of hard because you're working 8 hours a day, then you come home, got home responsibilities. It's a lot easier now because my girls are not there.
Right, yeah.
They're gone, they're in college and they're doing their thing. And then I can go in my little space on the days I do the podcast and do what I need to do. And that way it's not filtering over into. And I think a lot of times, I think people just need to do that in general with any of their jobs, whether it's working at the VA or working at the bank, because you come in, people talking crazy to you. Like you talked about working in your business, you want to be able to connect with people. A lot of times people might be rude to you. They don't want to, they don't want to really connect.
Yeah, so, that's why I like to... this is a good way to get my mind off all that. I love that. I'm a big gym guy. Right. I like to run. I like to do all that stuff. But I definitely get there's been times in my life where I would help people and it would just if I can't sleep at night. So at the studio is a good example. So I hired people. I was like, okay, I'm a big shot now. Let me get a couple people in here.
Right.
And then, so the studio's a night functioning thing.
Right.
So it's okay, I want to sleep at night. So I'll hire so-and-so. He'll run it all night. And I'll sleep all night.
Yeah, but you got expectations, though.
And so, phone calls in the middle of the night, stuff breaking in the middle of the night, issues need to be resolved at 2 a.m.
Exactly.
Things like that. And, then they get in trouble. I've had, I've dealt with people that's worked for me. They get in trouble. Now it's my problem. It's not really my problem, but
you're the manager, you're the overseer.
And so, I was genuinely curious about what, when you're actively helping somebody, you're saying you just got to break it up. Huh?
Yeah, you got to break it up. You got to step away from it. Even now, before the job I have now, I was actually a supervisor within the VA, managing people, as you can attest. That's hurting people. It's crazy. You got all those different personalities, and you got your clients. You got to step away sometime. You got to look at yourself because you're gonna end up compartmentalizing that stuff so you don't blow up at nobody. But that stuff is eating you up inside. It might cause you to overeat, overdrink. I gained so much weight from stressing about stuff. I'm I gotta get away from that.
Yeah.
Like you said, at night you think you're gonna get a good night's rest, and you're thinking about, okay, what I'm gonna do in the morning. So you gotta get away from that type of stuff. Sometimes you gotta, and I've learned that personally from people telling me, you just gotta take time for yourself and be able, whether it's a drive, whether it's a getaway. I leave. If it get to the point at work when I've had back to back to back, and sometimes with the caseload we have, sometimes we're going back to back to back appointments. You got a lot of paperwork you got to do, enter that. Once I get to a stopping place, I'm getting in the my wife got my VW now. I'm getting in the VW. I'm driving through town. I might go up to Quick Trip, get me a drink. I'm gonna go over to Spring Lake Park and sit there and okay, I need to just.
I like going to the park. That is a good little place.
Man, that's my sanctuary when I go over there.
I like the park and I like the gym because everybody there is coming for a break from reality, I think.
Yeah.
And at the gym, you go into the gym, everybody in the gym is motivated as hell. That's that's where you can't get motivated watching all these other people be motivated. And then at the park, man, there's kids playing, we're out, there's people in the sun, nobody's staring at their phone.
Yeah.
It's I don't know, it's
it's like you connecting back to yourself. It's a point of time when you can just relieve yourself for everything that's going on from the normal days of life, the run on the mill stuff. You can just get back recentered and focus on the stuff that you need to do personally. Because man, if you let it, that work will eat you up. And I can imagine you running your own business and managing employees, all the different things that go into that. That in itself, that would unnerve me because I don't want to end up losing anything. So.
Yeah. And then I read a book called, what was it? The E-Myth. This is a book about small business. It's the most popular small business book. And it always it almost haunted me because it was once you start adding employees,
right?
They say that you've either got to perfect the system because they say when you start getting rid of employees, when you get smaller, you die.
Right.
And that was like something that scared the hell out of me. And so that almost did more bad for my thought process than anything, but it was true. You know, when I did eventually got rid of employees and was like, and I did exactly what the book said I was going to do if I was going to burn out. And that is get rid of everybody and take back control.
Did that work best for you?
No.
I ain't think so.
Because they say, once you get small, you die. So like there was a real thing I learned, and I was like, well, nobody can do it like I can do it. Let me grab the reins. Let me get back in the cockpit and take this where it needs to go. Immediately burn back out because I got used to having people work for me, and then we made the system like this.
But a lot of times, ain't it hard to let go?
It is
and delegate.
Extremely hard.
And I hadn't done it in a business, but as a supervisor, it's hard to let go. Sometimes you just got to trust the people you bring in and let them go do what they need to do and rock and roll and hope. That they don't take your ship down to the bottom.
Because here's a concept that's hard to wrestle with, whether you're a supervisor or whether you just got the business is yours or whatever. Right. Nobody's going to love your stuff like you.
No, they're not.
I love every microphone in this place. Yeah. I love every light.
You want it in a specific place?
Yeah, the cameras, the lens, the everything about this place, I put up for a reason.
Right.
I love it.
Right.
The system. I made the system. Yeah. I was I'm a system guy. And so I would hire people and they were like, we're here for the vibes. We're music, because most of the people you hire to do music work are artists themselves.
Yes.
And so then you get, and I have a little touch of artist stuff and I've dabbled in music before, but it's like, I also got like completely straightened out of the military too, to where I have that type of thought process. Yeah. You know how they can get you on the.
You focus on one task and how it's going to be, the policy. They get me like that too. I always say, I focus on the policy. If I follow the policy, everything is going to be right. And that's when I have stuff like at home, boy, they be like, we went on a cruise.
Oh, I love cruising.
Yeah, we're going on another one December. That's our thing now. But we went on our first cruise, and I had like everything in like a little binder. I had everything. I had all the shot cards, the COVID cards, had the passports, and I got up to the desk, and the lady said, "We need your stuff." I gave her this book, and she looked at me like, "You can go."
You good?
Yeah, you good. Man, sometimes we just gotta. I think we gotta not project ourselves and our things on about everybody else. I had one guy I worked with, he was my mentor. He said, your expectations are too high. I said, too high? I'm supposed to have high expectations. So I was groomed at principals and stuff. You set high expectations, you're going to go to where you need to go. He said, I don't mean it like that. I said, not everybody is going to work like you. They're not going to be you. They're not going to have the expectation. You just got to be able to work with them, their capabilities and what they can do. And if they not, bring them to where they need to go, but they're not going to be you.
I struggle with this.
I struggle with that now.
I struggle with it really bad.
And that's why they say, hey, we don't see you a whole lot. I don't deal with a lot of folks because I know I like to have stuff a certain way. And then if I come home and I when my girls were small, I have certain things on my desk. I'm like, where is it? Because I have stuff set. Like I said, you have stuff certain places. And so, but I had to realize that I can't just project myself or how I want things to be onto them. All I can do is just try to help them be the best they can be.
Right.
So.
Yeah, that's a tough one for me.
It's hard, man. I tell you, it's hard. Especially, you got a business going on. You got your system going on. I know you made me laugh one time. You were interviewing, I forget his name, but he has like a podcast studio. But you interviewed.
Oh, Anthony. Yeah, great guy. Yeah. Anthony Vaughn, shout out to Texarkana podcast studio.
Yeah, and you was talking about you and your partner on your other show and how y'all come in and y'all bump heads and stuff.
Oh man, yeah.
And so
he eventually gave out. I have another co-host now. Yeah, he like this, like you're seeing. Yeah, this is hard to do every week.
Yeah,
this is very hard. And once and I'm not mad at him. I realize it. Like this just took over my life. And when it started, when I started asking for a ton of more help, he was like, "Look, this was supposed to be fun." Yeah. So I get it, and that's like another part of like the struggle we're talking about earlier. Like
Right.
I have this idea about the podcast. Like I'm projecting me into his role too.
Right.
And it just don't work.
And I think once you find like the perfect match to you, you're gonna have to find like someone like that's gonna be opposite of you, so y'all can be able to match and play off each other.
Yeah. So the next guy, shout out to Brendan Seifert.
Okay.
We got another guy. We just kept rolling because I was like, I didn't want to give up on my idea, and I put a bunch of money into that show too as well.
Right.
So I never skipped a week.
Yeah.
But I'm so, like I say, like I get like mission oriented, and I'm just like, look, if I told these people stuff is gonna come out on Tuesday,
right?
Stuff is coming out on Tuesday.
Man, I feel you because I was talking to my wife. You still? I'm like, yeah. I said I'm doing these edits. I got to have this out. I said it's gonna be 7 p.m. I need to make sure it's on there, and then because I don't want to have to go back and apologize. We have delays or whatever. Because and I tell them like all the time. I said I'm going out and do like a little shoot. I'm going over and interview these people. Oh, I'll come. I say you might not want to come because I might not come back when you want to come back.
Right.
So. It's just I try to just work around stuff, and I tell you, just got to find a partner that's gonna be able to work well with you.
Yeah, he's been a lot more helpful. Now, like I said, nothing against my buddy.
Right.
We were just buddies that decided to try something.
Yeah,
I took this other dude. We were becoming buddies after spending all this time with each other, but we were just like acquaintances, and we always got along good. And I told him before he started, I was like, if you come on here, that like this is like. It's hard. It's easier to tell an acquaintance, like give them like, hey, here's what I'm really expecting out of you.
Right.
Then my buddy of 10 years.
Right.
And like half of our conversations are like roast sessions anyway.
Right.
So it's hard for me and me and him, I think literally can't have the conversations we need to have. Right. So in a way it was kind of destined to fail. But at least with me and him. But he did bring this like wild card angle that I miss.
Right.
I miss it.
Right.
But I don't. It's so and like so. You study psychology and stuff. You know how complicated we are as humans, and then you get like two guys together, and then a bunch of history together. And it's like he's one of my best friends. We clash, and that was supposed to be the point of the show: clash on camera.
Right.
But then when it was time to like work together, we couldn't. I don't know. I'm not sure me and him can have that conversation because
because a lot of times you can't. Sometimes those relationships, you can't have those dual relationships because it's hard to go back to that friend type relationship.
Yeah.
You have that, and you see that a lot. You see that a lot where like, you see it in like groups, whether it be in music groups, they constantly always together, and then they were friends, now they're working together. And sometimes it's hard to do that. Sometimes you got to find that opposite person. Y'all might have the same life, but you're not from the same area. I look at that. One of my favorite podcasts now is like The Pivot. And they have like all three of those guys have different personality. They might have been in the same spirit for football, but they're totally different if you just sit there and listen to them. They got their own things going on, but they work to what they got. It works because they can be able to put their little part to it, his part to it. And I think when you get opportunity work with your new partner, it's going to allow y'all to kind of piggyback off each other, play off one another. It's just like Run DMC.
Yeah.
Totally different outfit, but when their verses come together,
right?
They boom, boom, boom. They're tit for tat.
I tell you what is hard though. It is so much easier to talk to a new guest every week than talk to the same person every week. The podcast where you just have a co-host, that's tough.
Yeah.
Because you have to really go think about the topics and stuff. Like, some of these interviews, I already kind of have a run. Like I'm real big on. I really just don't have notes, because I like to follow the conversation.
I do too.
And I have stuff that I want to talk about when I come in. So I had a little list, and I've hit most of the points that I want to talk to you about. You know what I'm saying? So that keeps me from being so tied down to like this is the next question. This is the next question. But in the show, in the podcast environment where you talk to the same person every week, you have to keep it fresh.
Right. You got to have topics, current affairs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how Shannon Sharp does with those 8-hour shows he does.
Yeah, that's insane. That's a long time.
I'll be walking out. Cognac or not, I'm walking out.
But at least I don't know, if you was getting millions of views, you figured it out, wouldn't you?
I might do about 4 or 5.
he set the tone bringing Cat in.
Cat blew it up.
January 4th. I remember. I can remember the date because this seemed like it created a landslide of things afterwards.
Yeah, he was just dropping. It was like he was moving around. Yeah. He was just dropping nuggets. It went on. I think that interview went for like 3 or 4 hours. Then the next day.
Oh man, that one blew, that let me know 2024 is gonna be wild.
Yeah,
at least from interview podcast interview standpoints, and I think he did kind of open a door because they've been wilder. And there's been a lot of.
It's been wild.
But then there's been a lot of wild stuff come out.
Yeah, it's been a lot of wild.
There's a lot of weird stuff in Hollywood. I think it's getting harder and harder.
Murphy.
It's hard for them to cover it up now.
Yeah, because social media.
Yeah, you can go put somebody on a 4-hour podcast.
Yep.
If you're weird, somebody's talking about you on a podcast now.
They are. It's like, especially if you've done some crazy off the wall type stuff back in the 90s. All you had in the 90s were sky pages. You paid somebody, they were still using Polaroids.
Yeah.
And then the video camera came around with Freaknik, with them videotaping everything that goes on with that. But social media, when social media hit, that phones, those iPhones, when you can capture stuff live, right there to the spot, shoot it up to Instagram, now TikTok, if they don't get rid of that, and all of those things, Twitter. Now you can catch everything that you do is live, just like that live feed.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I know, on accident, I see, the personal beefs here in town. Dude, it's especially the ladies. The ladies are beating the hell out of each other, man. And they'll go live with the arguments. They'll, pre-fight, post-fight, the fight, all of it. And there'll be 800-900 people on the live.
Yeah, man. Not even that. I go through and read stuff all the time. I go to different, they got that one thing on Facebook where you want to laugh and hear some crazy stuff. I'm not going to call them, but you go and read one of those. I was reading it last night. I was like, wow, these folks are wilding out on here. They be talking about some crazy stuff. They be going off the wall. They be going out. It's like they trying to rip people apart verbally.
Yeah, don't know who the mayor is.
No. They don't even know what he look like. Do he have a red jacket on, or orange, or purple?
Yeah. I don't know if it's a white or black dude. I couldn't even tell you.
He's white.
Oh.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you. This man does not exist in my world. I know we had a mayor.
Type in the mayor of Texarkana.
Yeah, I'm gonna Google it tonight. I'm at least know him.
Yeah. Get to know him. Go. I think just by listening to him, he's a good guy. He's trying to do stuff in the community. He's always at those ribbon cuttings. We have a new business coming in. I think he's approachable. I just think they just need to open that up to more people so people can know who they are.
Right.
Know what's going on. It's for the people, by the people, so the people need to know what's going on in the community. And you never know what people might be apt to do if you let them know what's going on.
Yeah. I think the podcast coming in is a good thing. I think politicians should have to go get grilled on these podcasts.
Yeah.
I really do think that. I've listened to at least, love them, hate them, whatever.
Right.
I've at least got to listen to, 8 hours of RFK talking.
Right.
I've already listened to 7 or 8 hours of Trump talking.
Right.
And, I would like to see Biden sit down and talk.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch that snooze fest on Thursday.
Yeah. Is that the
first debate?
The first debate, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch that and see.
But see, I don't like. I want them out of that. I don't want to see them in that format. I want to see you with somebody that can ask tough questions, intelligent questions. I need you to answer a question and not have a time limit. I don't like the time. That's the thing about I don't like a time limit. No. I don't know that. None of the rules. And get you away from the ops. I don't need you arguing with the folks. I like that, and that's why I like the ones that are going at least on, love them, hate them. I don't know what I think right now, honestly, realistically. Right. But I at least I would like for the politician to go on there and get grilled go on Joe Rogan and get grilled for 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah.
Get asked tough questions on different, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because I like to see him on Joe. I like to see him on Rogan, because I watch Roland Martin a lot. He said, come on, because he's controversial. He want everybody to come on. But even
who was the last name you said there?
Roland Martin.
Roland Martin. No, I don't know.
Yes, Roland Martin Unfiltered. He was on CNN for a long time. Okay. He was on, I think he might have been on News One for a while. But with the one that's coming on Thursday. There's no audience going to be there. There's only going to be them two there, two elderly gentlemen fussing at each other.
Yeah.
So, but why not have the forum type, the city hall type, where you have people, normal citizens in there, again, like the state of the Texarkana thing, so we can ask questions. Oh, I didn't know that was going on. I didn't know this was your stance.
I think there's just a script. They can't go off script.
But sometimes you got to go off script to get things done.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Like so I like Sean. Is it Sean Ryan? He's an ex-Navy SEAL dude, badass dude in real life. He interviews people. He's had. Is it Sean? Yeah, Sean Ryan. I like Joe Rogan. I like Lex Friedman. They get the big guests. They can get like presidential candidates on there. I don't know. It's important to me. Like, I would be scared to vote for somebody I haven't heard talk for 5-6 hours.
I'm gonna send you like a link. I don't know if you've seen these two guys. They're twins.
Oh,
They black. They are the most countryest. You need to watch them. They're twins. They're like pro everything, guns, everything. But they crack me up because they talk about serious stuff to it, a funny aspect to it. I'm saying because they talk about stuff that's relevant to like two of us sitting down at a bar or on the porch talking about how we want things to be in the country.
Right.
And a lot of times we don't do that. We don't talk about I always go back to it. We don't talk about what the normal Joe wants. The normal Joe, whether they're black, white, Hispanic, or whatever, they want the same thing. But how do we get their voice so they can be able to write policy to help them get the things that they need? And a lot of times, I don't know if the politicians do that. It's like you get into that. I think they mean well in the beginning when they go into it.
So you think the higher level do you think they mean well?
In the beginning. But overall, when you get up there and you have all these people in your ear, they've donated, they want things from you. You know, when we have people in your circle or like in your entourage, they might do something for you, but in the back of their mind, they're expecting things from you. So they're expecting a return on those things. So they're trying to be able to serve the people, but you also got those people that we help you get there. We need this done. And so a lot of time they lose sight of the people, their constituents.
Right.
And they only come back when they want the vote, when they want you to vote for them. But where have you been when I've been going through this and this? Food is impacting the price of food, the job rates, the housing, how inflation, that's impacting everybody, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, independent or whatever, that's impacting us all. And I think a lot of times that we step aside or step back a little and just look and say, hey, these people are voting for, because I voted for a Democrat, voted for Republican. I lean more towards the traditional GOP. Voted for Bush, voted for McCain. I voted for Obama when he came in. I went with this guy that we have now. But I'm looking for someone that's going to actually come in and serve not just one constituent. I want people that's going to serve all Americans so we can be able to grow. Man, we're a great country. We're a great city. I always go back to the city aspect of it because I remember when Texarkana thrived. I remember when our neighborhoods didn't look like the way they look. I grew up in Beverly, and it didn't always look like that. We didn't always have all that blight that you see going on. I grew up down Lake Drive. And I remember
I've been here my whole life, right in this area.
You know when Wayne's used to be packed out.
Yeah,
every night of the week when they were open, not just on Fridays. Everybody was going there getting those fish dinners and hamburgers.
I walked to Wayne's so many times.
We driving over here to get it. I know, or going downtown to get Texas burger. Yeah. So I think a lot of times the politicians lose sight of who got them there, and then they just focus on the people that's trying to help keep them there. When in reality, we're the ones that's voting on you, voting for you. And you should be helping us. And I think a lot of times we just step away from all the vitriol and all the negative stuff that's going on. We can get back to where we are.
I know it's getting later. We talked a little bit, but what do you think? I'm trying to think how to word the question. What are your thoughts on the two-party system? Do you think that this is still what we need to be doing, or do you think that?
I think there still needs to be a balance. Because you're always going to have different views. But I think the overall genesis of it, those two parties were there to balance each other out, to keep checks and balances on each other, not just to be, we're going to be ruling over you when we're in, we're going to be ruling over you when we're in, but to work together. And the people always talk about, if you watch the news, I watch a lot of CNN. I catch Fox from every now and then. I watch Newsmax. I try to get a good gist to everybody, so I'm not just hearing just one side.
Yeah, watching one side can be bad because they all have like agendas and stuff. Yeah,
because a lot of times I might agree with something that's going on over here that I might not agree with what's going on with the Democrat side and vice versa. But I want to be able to make an informed choice about what I'm going to be able to take in and how I'm going to relate it and apply that to my overall life. So a lot of times, I think the two-party system is good. I just think it's just off because if you look at it, I don't think it's just the parties itself. I think it's the people within both of those parties.
Because they're just corrupted?
Yeah, because they're going after each other.
Right.
I was watching a Democratic debate for New York with the people that's going for one of the Senate seats that's open in New York.
But that was a slugfest.
Yeah, they were going after each other, talking crazy. But I'm like, but y'all on the same page though. Y'all supposed to have the same agenda. As opposed to you have on the Republican side, you have the staunch conservatives, you have the conservatives, you have the moderates. Not all the time that they're supporting each other. So if I feel like, again, going back to the military and the policy, I feel like we have one policy. We should be following that policy to help the greater good. And so I think if we can get everybody on one accord in each one of those groups so that we can go back to being that balance, so not one is thinking that they're overruling over somebody else.
Yeah, because I get the two-party deal because in a sense, it's like, okay, like let's say you didn't like these past 4 years. You're ready for a change.
Right.
Okay, but that might be incentive to swing the other way or whatever. Let's try it this way and see if this works and that. But I think we get offered two people at the end of the day, and especially these last couple ones for sure.
These last
and I'm not old enough to know if it's always been like that. But from what all I know is the couple ones I've been able to vote at.
Right.
It seems like we end up with these people, and like a lot of people are going to vote, and they're just like, well, who do we want less in here? Vote for the other one.
Right.
That can't when there's. I forget how many people are in America. It's a ton of people.
Too many.
I think it's like 300 million or something, maybe.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So there's 300 million, and you're trying to tell me that when we go to vote for our main leader, the main thought and a good majority of people in their head is, who do we want less in here? Vote for the other one.
Yeah, it's like you're voting for the lesser of the two evils.
Yeah, and there's 330 million Americans. Well, don't fact check me there, but it's like there has to be some other type of.
It is because if you think about it, the people that we have, no offense to anybody, the people that we have a choice for in November, they're not the most qualified people, or even the most mentally fit to be in those positions. Because if you think about it, the brightest people that should be running for these offices, they're not running. They don't want to put themselves out there to jeopardize anything that they have going on if they're...
And both of them are 80.
Yeah. And you think... Because here's what you have to look at. Whether Biden stays in or Trump gets in, God forbid something happens to one of them. You're going to end up with a person that may not really be ready for that role. That's a role that I wouldn't wish on nobody.
Yeah, vice president.
The president, I wouldn't wish that role on anybody. Yeah,
that's rough. That's a rough.
And then to have a person that's pretty much the understudy in case something happens, to have that person come in and be, and they've done it before with Johnson and when Kennedy was killed, and then it came in and did a stellar job. But just to have to jump in on the fly and just say, I got to run this. I think there's a lot of, even with the local government, there's a lot of people within our communities that are qualified to the point where they can be able to change or make an even better positive impact on the overall population than what a lot of times the options that we have.
Right.
But then it goes back to, are you willing to put that skin in the game to go do that and say, I'm going to set aside.
Yeah, but I guess all this is, obviously this is not affecting anything, but I just following the thought, should there have to be that much skin in the game for you to, You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Should you need super PACs and big corporations to back you and stuff for you to be the president?
$13 million for a commercial? No, you don't even do that. You need to go talk to the people. If you're genuine, I don't care if I told you I voted for Bush, I voted for McCain. One, because they said something that was genuine to me, that spoke to me. If you can do that, you have a person that can do that. It doesn't matter if you're a Republican, Democrat, independent, the people are going to vote for you.
Right.
The people are going to vote for you. You know, and it's just like, are you speaking to those people in a genuine way where they can see that, yes, you're going to do these things for you, not just saying this just to be saying it. You know, that's with any leader. Are you persuasive enough to show that person that, hey, if you ride with me, I'm going to make sure I do that. I learned that a long time ago in middle school when I did a student council election, ran for vice president. You know, I got all the 8th graders in line and, you know, talking with them. I'm just a 7th grader. I'm going up. Y'all getting ready to leave out and go to the high school. But they rallied behind me just because the genuineness that I brought to the table to get me in office, you know, and support me while I was there. And I think if you can do that, the party line, even though there's 2 different parties, they're going to be what they call bipartisan agreement on who's going to run this country, because that's a tough job. And just surround yourself with people that totally think, operate, and function like you is not always the best thing. We talked about that earlier. You know, and not everybody's going to have our same expectations, but they come from different perspectives and different points of time, and they can contribute to what you got going on and help you make effective decisions.
Right.
So I think, I don't know, man. I look at, I don't get too much in the political stuff, but I look at stuff, and I'm like, even when President Trump was in there, and I was like, he got a good mind for business, and I always thought he had a great opportunity to make it great for everybody. We talk about making America great again and things of that nature. It's been great, but sometimes it hasn't been great.
Right.
But even with every president, you have opportunity to make a situation where everybody can thrive. I'm not saying that everybody's going to get the same thing, going to have the same thing, because throughout history, it's never been that way. There's always been poverty. There's always been people in the middle, people rich. The middle has always held everything. You know, the middle class is what balances everything out. It keeps the poor from going too low, keeps the rich from getting too crazy. The middle class and the middle section of the country and the world, those are the people that hold everything. That's the foundation. And I think if you can reach that and get people where they're more on a level playing field, not where everything is going to be so much equal, but more equitable, I think people can be able to thrive. And people say, okay, I got mine. Let me help this person get up to where they are.
That's a good answer. Last question.
Yes, sir.
So what do you think about the middle party?
The middle part?
Yeah.
Explain.
The independents. Because what I feel like is like, I feel like at some point in time, there's going to be somebody that runs independent that has really good ideas and that might be the perfect leader, but they're not in one of the 2 parties.
Yeah. So they're not going to get the votes because they're going to split.
So do you think because there's a lot of talk about like RFK, like he'll get more traction.
Junior, yeah,
he'll get more traction than maybe any independent ever so far.
Yeah,
it's going to be real interesting.
Yeah, Nader didn't get anywhere with the Green Party. Yeah,
they're gonna, but I don't know. Like the young people, I can tell you this: the young people are at least very interested in him, and that's a whole different. Yeah, and I wonder. I don't know. It just. Yeah, so let's say I woke up one morning and I was decided, okay, I'm a middle guy. That's what I don't like that side. I don't really care for that. Or I like the good from here and the good from here. And maybe there's one person that embodies both. He's in the middle. That's what I want to vote for.
Right.
But I feel like you would almost waste your vote.
Yeah, because it's going to split it. Because say if you're a Trump supporter but you also like everything that RFK Jr. is doing and you vote for him, then that might swing the vote over to Biden, where he gets elected, or vice versa. I don't know if the Democrats have like another person that might be running. I think it was a guy, but he hadn't really got that much traction. But I think if say the independent was to the point where he could speak to both parties, where it felt like that he was going to be a rider for all of us, where he can bring both those things together. I think that's what the independent does. You have those views on both sides. They got to be able to bring those views from both sides and be able to bring that full population in to get those votes. So if you're not able, again, to speak to those people, to say, hey, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm about, this is what I stand for, and that person that's voting that has in that ballot box say, hey, I know these two guys, I know what they're about, but this guy seems like I'm going to ride with that. And we get enough of those people to do that, the independents or the Democrats and the Republicans say, we're going to vote for this independent guy. I think he gives us the better track to get where we need to go. I think it'll happen, but it just, a lot of times people just like to be in their little pocket and they're scared to stray away from it.
Yeah. This is an interesting one because both presidents that are running have been presidents. And so you could look at, you literally can look at like resumes more than normal. You could say, here, this is what it was like for him. This is what it was like for him. You know, do some math and figure out where you land. And I don't know how many other, I think surely there's been elections like that before.
It has. And you look in the 90s, there's a lot more. And the thing you have to realize is, like, this where we live right now is different. Where a lot of the politicians that were coming up in the 80s, 90s, they've either gotten old and retired or passed away. We got these two guys. I see good things in both. But I think at a point, it's time to pass the torch and start getting people ready to lead the country. That's going to focus on the people and not so much the agendas or where it's going to get them and speak to the people. But I don't know. I'm looking to see what's going to happen. I hope nothing crazy goes on again like the last time because that was disheartening.
What do you mean by that?
Just like with the crazy stuff that was going on January 6th. And we've had so many protests going on with stuff that's going on. It's like I think the country's just been splintered. Yeah. You know, it's like, I think back to, and we'll close out to end the question. I think back when 9/11 happened, how the country.
They responded good to it.
No matter no matter where you came from, whether you black, white, Hispanic, we were about America. It was like these people came in and projected this harm on our country. We're riding together. Yeah. And I think that was a time when everybody was like, we're together. We got to focus. They're rallying behind the president, whether you were Democrat or Republican or independent. Everybody was single-minded on a specific task and agenda, and that's to get America back, financially stable, back, get the families taken care of that was hurt in the blast and the attacks. And I think we can get back to that point without a major disaster where we're working together.
Yeah, that would be nice. But something tells me it'll take another something like that.
And that's crazy to see. So,
but people do. I don't know. Us as humans, for some reason, we respond to tragedy in that way. Yeah.
Like we talked about, people they like the spicy stuff. They like the gore.
Yeah. So. Yeah, man, there's 1,000 more questions, but I'm tired.
Man, I appreciate you. I appreciate you.
I definitely enjoyed
it, man. Yes, sir. I appreciate you.
Jeremy Duncan, you can find him. What's the name of the podcast?
The name of the podcast, our platform is called TXK State of Mind. We have a weekly show that we do called TXK Conversations, where we talk to different civic leaders, people that are doing stuff to help the community be great. And then I have a little fun side where I go out and talk to restaurants, restaurant owners, business
owners. Eat food, huh?
Yeah.
Come on.
I try not to eat too much, but look at me.
I've had some food people come on here and they always bring me food.
Right,
it's so
man,
nice.
So good.
Yeah, shout to Big Slice, shout to Tyler
Big
Trout,
Slice,
Underground Piece.
Yep.
Yeah, it's some good people out there, man. I'm excited. I think, and so like to end it, I think me and you we got a good idea, man. We got to keep going because I'm discovering there's more people out there doing cool stuff around here.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot. You learn that, but when you go and interview people, meet you for the first time, I love your studio. It's something I'm looking around seeing what I can steal.
Hey, that's fun.
Be able to add to help my platform grow. And I think that's what it's about.
Yeah.
Different personalities come together for a commonality and being able to help one another. So anytime you want me to come on, I got to get you on.
Oh, yeah. I love it.
So we can talk and just chop it up.
I love it. Hey, we appreciate y'all tapping in. Remember, like, share, subscribe, do all that cool stuff. Hit the bell to let you know when new videos drop. We love you. Thank you for tuning in. Y'all have a blessed day.
We'll see you.